Hey everybody, Mr. Bress here, and I wanted to record kind of overview video of the interpreting and creating graphs, the sort of last practice for this unit. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share my screen here. Oh, got to start broadcasting. And I brought this assignment and from Canvas. I already brought it into Notability, and this is our, if it works here, let's see here. Oh yeah, this is our graphing unit, interpreting and creating bar graphs. So in class, we were able to get through this first graph a little bit where we were looking at vanilla, different flavored ice cream cones, how many were sold, in answering a few of these questions here. I'll just fill in, were there fewer chocolate or fewer? So it's asking for which was less, cotton candy or chocolate. Well, I can see that chocolate, it's not really a straight line, gets me to 5, and that the height of the graph for cotton candy is taller. 9 cones were sold. So there were fewer chocolate. Which flavor sold the worst? So I'm looking for which one sold the fewest number of cones. So this was the independent, the x-axis was the flavors. The thing we measured, or they measured here, was the dependent variable, the number of cones sold. And I can see that orange only sold 1 cone on that particular day. So orange sold the worst. Orange. Okay. And now I'll start from the beginning in the next one that you might be working on at home. So a game company asked people at the mall which game console they owned. So I put this in here because it's kind of funny. There's some older consoles here. I think we're up to PS5 now. I'm not sure. So a little bit older. They recorded the results in the bar graph below. So they asked some people at the mall which console they used, and then graphed it, and now we're trying to interpret this. So the independent variable, the thing that changes in this experiment, is the console, and the thing that we measure is the number of people, right? So you might imagine a multiple choice question. That's the thing that changes, and the thing we're going to measure is the number of people that answer each particular answer. So how many people owned a PS3? So here's PS3 here, and I go up and over, and I can see that 5 people owned a PS3. Did more people own a Game Boy or a ColecoVision? I don't even know if I ever heard that. I must have missed that. So here's ColecoVision. It looked like, of this survey, 6 people owned a ColecoVision, whereas only 2 people owned a Game Boy. So did people own a game? Did more people own a Game Boy or ColecoVision? We can circle this, so that is ColecoVision. I'm probably saying it wrong. Okay, which console did exactly 9 people own? So maybe the way I want to do this is, okay, I'm going to go all the way up here to 9, and then scroll over. Oh, here's a bar. So from this survey, it looks like 9 people owned the Xbox 360. So Xbox 360 is what 9 people owned. Now we got to do a little bit of math here. What is the difference in the number of people who owned a PS Vita, so PS Vita, and the number who owned a ColecoVision? What is the difference? Well, it looked like PS Vita, 7 people owned a PS Vita, whereas what are we comparing this to? A ColecoVision. Only 6 people owned a ColecoVision. So that difference is 1, 7 versus 6. So 7 minus 6, the difference was 1. What is the combined number of Xbox 360s and Game Boys owned in this survey? So like before, Xbox 360, we saw 9 people owned it. And a Game Boy, 2 people owned a Game Boy. So we have 9 plus 2, the combined number would be 11. Okay, so those are pretty straightforward. And now we're getting into ones where we have to pay attention a little bit. The numbers are a lot bigger. So these are number of travelers using airline service in January. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, made up airlines, and the number of people who flew that airline in the month of January. And I'm seeing 100, 200, 300, 400, and so on. So the middle number here, it looks like I'm going from 0 to 50 to 100 to 150 to 200 to 250. And so I'm gonna look at that. Oh, and this is a little useful. The Kiwi Airlines shows me that 750. It helps kind of keep me knowing what numbers we're using. So first question. How many people flew East-West Airlines? Here's East-West Airlines, and of course they mean in January here. So I go up and over, and I can see that 700 people flew East-West Airlines. Okay. Did more people fly Disco Airlines or Coco Airlines? So Disco Airlines, 900 people flew Disco Airlines, and I can already see the bar is higher, but let's just for completeness sake, Coco Airlines only 700, right? So maybe I can even write like 900 up here, 700 down here, and I can see that more people flew Disco Airlines. Okay. Which airline had exactly 900 travelers? Lucky for us, we just wrote it right there. So I could go up to number of travelers, go up to 900 over, and I see that that is Disco Airlines. All right. What is the difference in the number of travelers between Kiwi and Baba Ganoush Airlines? So Kiwi has 750 travelers, and this Baba Ganoush has 550. So this is 750 minus 550 equals 200. All right. And just kind of like the last one, what is the combined number of travelers of Disco and Kiwi Airlines? So Disco Airlines, they had over 900 travelers, and Kiwi Airline had 750. So the combined there is 900 plus 750 equals 1,650. All right. Another one to interpret, and then we'll make a bar graph. So Mr. Cool surveyed 172 freshmen about their favorite subject. The results are displayed in the bar graph. Use the data to answer the question. So this is number of students versus subject. So the thing that was different, the thing that can kind of be changed is the subject. And the thing that we're measuring is the number of students that preferred that subject. So that is our dependent variable. So which subject was the favorite among freshmen? So I'm looking for the highest bar, and I see that for these freshmen, social studies was the favorite subject. It has the highest bar, up to 60 students of the 172 preferred social studies. So social studies, okay. Which subject was the least favorite among freshmen surveyed? Well, which bar is the lowest here? Oh, here we go. Math. And that looks like 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe about 12. Only 12 of those surveyed actually preferred math. So math was the least, got the least amount of favorite votes. Did more freshmen prefer English or science? Oh, this is This is important. We got to see this. So science is here. English is here. Science is just below 40, and English is almost up to 45 there. So I can see the bar for English is higher. So more students preferred English. Approximately how many students chose math as their favorite? So we looked at this before, but let's look a little closer here. So each of these lines, these grayish lines, so I see that's 5, 10, 15, 20. So I think that this is almost halfway, but not quite. So 5, 10, I'm going to call that 12. If you combine science and phys ed, would it be more than social studies? Okay, well, social studies has 60 here, right? If I go up 60, number of students that had social studies as their favorite was 60. And now we need to combine science. I'm going to call this, it's almost 40. I'm going to call that 39. In Phi Ed, I'm going to look at that. It's 20. Oh, so this is 60 versus 59. No, it is not. So no, because social studies was 60. And if I combine those two together, it was 59. So science and phys ed together don't have as many as social studies. So we drew a little graph here. I'll just give you a chance. You could pause the screen and look at that. We did that in class. And I'll take some time now in the video to show, let me see, is that the last one? Yeah, how to make this final graph here. And I will erase this part and we can start over a little bit here. Okay, so the quantity of fruit sold by farmers at the market are shown in this data table below, or in this data table right here. Draw a bar graph to show these data. Also label the axes and give the graph a title. So this is maybe quantity of fruit sold by farmers. Not a great title, but workable. So down here is the type. Well, I'm going to give myself a little more room here. I'm going to push this up and I'm going to write type of fruit. And I can see that this is quantity in kgs, in kilograms. So this right here is quantity, the thing we're measuring, and we're measuring that in kilograms. Okay. And we have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fruits. So I'm going to make little dashes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is going to be my apples. This is oranges, bananas, kiwi, weird way to say, blueberry is a little split there. So blueberries, and finally grapes. Okay. So to start with, apples, I go back up to my data table here and I see, oh yeah, the farmer sold 35 kilograms of apples. So quantity, I go up here to 35 and I'll make a little dot above the apples. And maybe we'll make our apples in red here. So 35 apples. Now, for our oranges, the farmer sold 30 kilograms of oranges. So again, I go up to 30 over to oranges, and I'll make a little dot right there. make my bar graph for oranges. Next are our bananas. We only sold 10 kilograms of bananas. So I go up to 10, over to bananas. And there it is. Oh, I know that yellow's a little rough on the eyes, but there's bananas. And now let's take a look at our kiwis here. Where am I thinking? 25 kilograms of kiwis. So again, go up, find 25. Over to kiwis. Make a little dot right there. Ooh, I made that a little wide. But we'll make our kiwis there at about 25. And now blueberries. All right, blueberries. Yeah, 40 kilograms of blueberries. So all the way up to 40, over to the blueberries there. Let's make a little dot right there. Draw down here. And of course, I'm being a little bit sloppy here, which is fine because all graphs and scientists now, we're making graphs digitally. I would probably use just very simply Google Sheets. I could make this graph there. And maybe that's hopefully something we have some time for to look at. This is just the process of making a graph so that by making it this way, you get some insight into how to interpret it. But of course, if I were hand drawing this and I had to actually show someone hand drawing, I'd make it really nice and pretty and make sure my lines are straight. But I'm not going to make a hand-drawn graph for anyone anymore, right? I'm going to do that digitally. So this is more of just going through that process. Okay, sorry, that was an aside. Let's get to our grapes here. 5 kilograms of grapes. I go up to 5 over my quantity over to 5. Not too many. My grapes right there. And there it is. So real simple graph right there, conveys some information. We can look at this quickly. Instead of looking at this table, we can look at this quickly and we can identify blueberries as the one that sold the best, grapes that sold the worst, apples sold more than oranges, kiwis sold more than bananas. We can look at this and interpret it really quickly. So the goal of this is to make the graph in order to understand the parts of a graph so that you can interpret it. If you were making a graph for your business or for an important assignment in school, we'd want to make that digitally because it's going to look a lot nicer and it's going to be exactly accurate. So that is it for this assignment, and I will see you all in class tomorrow. All right, bye-bye.